I showed up at Nora's apartment at 9:40 on a Tuesday night for what should have been a 2-minute errand, picking up a folder my sister Lily had left behind. But Nora had already made tea. Before I could even protest, a dark navy ceramic mug sat waiting on the coffee table. We sat down, started talking, and time slipped away. When I finally glanced at the window, rain was hammering Portland like it had a personal grudge against the city. The streets had dissolved into black mirrors. Street lights bled gold into the downpour. I looked at Nora, laughed softly, and said, "Rain like this, can I stay tonight?" She blushed. Her answer changed everything. But before I tell you what she said, let me go back. My name is Caleb Ashford. I'm 34, a landscape architect in Portland, Oregon. I design parks, gardens, and quiet green spaces for the city. It's work that suits me, more soil and blueprints than small talk. I've always been more comfortable with plants than people. I live alone in a small duplex in the Alberta Arts District. Hardwood floors, a drafting table by the window, and a kitchen that usually smells like whatever I cooked the night before. I've been on my own for 2 years now, since the divorce. No kids, no custody fights, no slammed doors. Just two tired adults at a mediator's table, agreeing that the life we'd built no longer fit. My ex-wife, Diana, is sharp and ambitious. She walks into any room and immediately finds the most important person in it. She rose quickly in public relations, corner office, director title, the full package. She wanted a husband with capital V vision, someone who chased promotions, built a personal brand, and showed up to galas with an impressive title. I just wanted to design beautiful gardens and be home by 7. She called it a lack of ambition. I called it knowing what I wanted. We argued about it for years, not with shouting or broken plates, but in that slow, exhausting way where nothing ever changed. The divorce papers were signed on a Tuesday afternoon. It was raining, of course. Portland always rains when you need it to. I don't hate Diana. I was simply exhausted from explaining why I didn't want to become the man she needed. After the divorce, I settled into a quiet rhythm that felt safe. Morning runs along the Willamette River while the city was still sleeping. Fog resting on the water like brushstrokes. Long hours of the studio sketching site plans, choosing stones, calculating drainage. Evenings alone with a book, a pencil, and the constant hush of rain on the roof. I cooked for one. I slept in the center of the bed. I answered to no one. I wasn't lonely. I was just used to being alone. Then there was Lily, my little sister, 28, fresh out of law school and already working 80-hour weeks, yet still finding time to call me every other day with some small favor. Fix her bookshelf. Drive her to the airport. Pick up a forgotten package. I never minded. Lily had a gift for making you feel needed without making you feel used. After the divorce, I needed that more than I admitted. That Tuesday night, she called around 9. "Hey, I left a case folder at Norris. Can you swing by and grab it?" Casual. Simple. I said sure without thinking twice. I knew Nora through Lily. They'd been best friends since their sophomore year of college. Roommates whose bond had survived everything. Nora had come to a few of Lily's small gatherings at my place. Wine, pasta, too many people crammed into the living room. The first time I noticed her, she was sitting in the corner of the kitchen reading a book. At a party. I stood there with a beer in my hand, watching her turn the page, and thought, that's the kind of person who brings a book to a party. I liked it. I liked it more than I let myself admit. I pulled up to her building at 9:40. It was barely misting. The usual Portland drizzle you don't even bother shielding yourself from. I buzzed her apartment. She opened the door with a quiet smile, hair still slightly damp from a shower. The folder was right there on the coffee table. I could have grabbed it and left. Instead, she asked, "Want some tea?" and was already moving toward the kitchen before I could answer. We talked. First about Lily's chaotic life, then about Nora's work editing a novel on urban architecture and the tension between green spaces and development. She asked real questions about root systems, soil compaction, designing parks that felt wild even when every inch was planned. Her eyes didn't glaze over. She leaned in. The conversation flowed easily. Then the rain arrived in earnest. It hammered the windows, turning the world outside into watercolor streaks. It was nearly 11. I looked at Nora. She was watching the rain too. The moment felt suspended. Warm apartment, cold storm, two people with no reason to be this close. Rain like this, I said, half laughing. Can I stay tonight? She blushed deeply. After a weighted silence, she set her mug down carefully and said, so softly, I almost missed it. There's an extra pillow in the top cabinet. I always keep one ready. I thought it was just thoughtful Nora, always prepared for guests. I found a pillow, stretched out on the couch, and slept better than I had in months. I didn't realize then that the word always wasn't about guests. It was about me. What I learned much later was that Nora had orchestrated that night. She was the one who suggested Lily ask me to pick up the folder. She could have delivered it herself the next morning. She chose not to. She chose to wait until the rain came down hard. Over the following weeks, Lily's favors involving Nora multiplied. Drop this off. Help with her bookshelf. Come show her how to fix something. I didn't question it. Every time I arrived, the dark navy mug was already on the table. Tea brewed exactly the way I liked it. Oolong, no sugar, steeped a little longer. She remembered tiny details I'd mentioned once. A garden in Kyoto, the name of a Japanese maple cultivar. No one remembers those things unless every word you say matters to them. One afternoon, fixing her bookshelf, our fingers brushed. She pulled back quickly. I noticed. Something inside me shifted, like a door opening just a crack. Then came the fake broken hot water heater. The dinner where Lily canceled at the last minute. The signed book she gave me, her first editing project, her name written carefully on the title page. I still have that book. Then Diana reappeared. She called wanting coffee. I went, thinking I was past it. She was already seated, perfect posture, untouched latte. After surface pleasantries, she leaned in and said she'd heard I'd been spending time at my sister's friend's apartment. The warning came wrapped in concern. Be careful, Caleb. You have a habit of not seeing things clearly. A few weeks later, Diana found Nora at a book launch. She introduced herself loudly and delivered her line. Caleb is a good man, but he doesn't know how to love someone the right way. I hope you don't make the same mistake I did. It was a weapon, not a warning. And it worked. Nora began to pull away. Texts slowed. Invitations were gently declined. The navy mug disappeared from the table. She served me tea in a plain white cup instead. The small rituals that had quietly defined us vanished. Lily eventually confronted me. You know Nora cares about you. I've seen it for months. Why do you keep pretending you don't? She was right. I had seen it. I just hadn't trusted it because the last time I trusted love, it came with conditions I could never meet. I called Diana and told her to let me go. Then I spent a week in my own head, replaying everything. Finally, I drove to Nora's on a Thursday evening under a clear sky. No rain, no folder, no excuse. When she opened the door, guarded and surprised, I said, I'm not here for Lily. I'm not here because of the rain. I told her I knew what Diana had said, and that while Diana was partly right, I hadn't known how to love the right way. I wanted to learn. Nora's voice trembled as she finally spoke. She admitted everything. The folder, the hot water heater, the 3 years she had kept that dark navy mug hidden in the cabinet, taking it out only when I came over. The pillow bought not for guests, but in the quiet hope that one day I would stay. 3 years, she whispered, eyes wet. I was afraid that if I told you, I'd lose you and Lily both. I didn't kiss her. I simply said, get the mug out. I want tea in tonight. Even though it's not raining, I still want to stay. She smiled, small, shaky and real. When she handed me the warm navy mug, I felt its weight like a question finally answered. We didn't rush into anything. Love with Nora was never loud. It was quiet actions, small declarations hidden in ordinary things. A toothbrush left at my place. A matching plant I bought for my kitchen. Holding hands along the river in the rain without needing to speak. 3 months in, Lily confessed she'd been playing matchmaker the whole time. I could only laugh. 6 months later, at the opening of the community park I designed, Nora stood at the edge of the crowd. When everyone left, she walked over, touched the plaque with my name, and said 4 words Diana had never said in 5 years of marriage. I'm proud of you. 1 year in, she moved into my duplex. The navy mug now sat openly on the shelf. One morning, I made her tea in it before she woke up. When she saw it, she held it close and looked at me like the waiting had finally ended. 2 years in, I proposed in that same park on a bench where I'd secretly carved our initials underneath. The ring was simple silver, engraved inside with navy mug forever. It was raining naturally. Love with Diana had been noise and negotiation. Love with Nora was silence, the kind you never want to break because it's too beautiful. Sometimes love arrives with fireworks. For me, it arrived in a dark navy ceramic mug hidden for 3 years, a broken hot water heater that was never broken, and a pillow kept ready for a joke about rain that turned out to be the most important question I ever asked. Nora never asked me to change. She simply listened when I talked about trees and paths and drainage. And somehow that was the most romantic thing anyone had ever done. If you've ever realized someone loved you quietly for a long time without you noticing, you know the ache and wonder of that moment. I reacted with regret, then gratitude, then courage. If I were Nora, I probably would have waited too, because some loves are built in silence and patience, not declarations. And if this story reminded you of someone, tell them. Sometimes all it takes is showing up under a clear sky with no excuse and finally choosing to stay.